We are into the Lent season. For a lot of people, that means giving things up. For some people, that means adding Bock beer.
Glenn, are you a calorie counter? I might have a beer
Hardly.
for you.
He's Joe Sixpack. I'm Glenn Macno. I think I already win this one. We're at the Yuengling Brewery in Pottsville, PA, and this is What's Brewing.
What's Brewing, brought to you in part by Monco Makers, powered by the Valley Forge Tourism and Convention Board. Download the app. And by the Conshohocken Brewing Company, now with 5 locations.
This season, stay up, stay out, stay wild, stay cool, and stay together, because you don't have to go far to get away. Book your stay and receive offers of up to $250 at these premier attractions.
Hey, welcome to What's Brewing with Joe Sixpack. I'm Glenn Macno. We're at the Yuengling Brewery in Pottsville, PA. Very exciting. They've got their 190th birthday this year. We're going to be talking to some people later on from Yuengling. We've got a full show of fun stuff for you today. But Joe Sixpack, we start out with Bock beers. It is the Lent season, and there's this association. Explain to me.
Well, it begins with this beer that I'll open up a bottle for you.
All right, this is our beer trade. What do you got?
This is Polliner Salvator, which is from Germany, from Bavaria. And this is considered to be the original of the modern day double bock beers from Germany. And it was a beer that was brewed at a Trappist monastery. And I believe a Trappist anyway, it was a monastery. And of course, during Lent, there's a lot of fasting that goes on. So they were brewing a stronger beer that would give the brothers enough calories for the day. So supposedly, they would drink this all day. It was also known as liquid bread.
Liquid bread, it is that dark and sweet with a taste kind of toasted bread, coffee, caramel, all of those things. And yeah, I read about this one. I mean, it dates back to the 13th century, this stuff.
The originals do.
Hopefully not this particular bottle.
Perhaps not, but boy, it's a nice looking clear bottle.
Yeah, it is, and it's got a real, I mean, this fills the room.
So the style would have been around, or the idea of brewing a heavier beer for Lent would have gone way back, but the lager beers we know didn't really come around until the 19th century. So I'm not really sure what the first year of this is, but Salvator is actually which began a whole tradition in double bocks, and that is that often double bocks have the suffix "ater" on the end of them, like Illuminator from Dock Street, Troganator, Optimator, and so on. So that "ater" is a sign that you're drinking a double bock.
And by the way, Bock beer comes from the word Unpolkisch Bock beer, which I can't even say, and does not relate to the German word Bock, which means male goat.
Right, you see
Learned
goats.
a lot.
You see goats. In fact, I see you got one on the bottle that you brought me.
Yeah, I brought you, so I have nothing quite as exotic as that 12th century thing you have. I have a Trogs, which is the Troganator, which is good, reliable stuff that's been coming out for years.
It's a classic because it is sort of like the Salvator, which comes out year-round. This beer is also around year-round. It's not just for the Lenten season. And this is a little bit darker, you can see, in color. Than the Salvator, and I think it has a little bit more roasted malts in it, and I think you'll taste that kind of roastiness in this beer as well.
So I enjoy this.
beer.
I mean, clearly, yeah, this is good stuff. You're not going to drink a lot of this, right? Nobody's putting down a 6-pack of this stuff.
Not typically. I think what is Troganator, around 8% alcohol or something like that. They typically
find it on here.
8.2%.
Exactly.
They tend to want to be a little bit higher in alcohol. I mean, that's the nature of putting more malt and fermentable sugars into beers. So yeah, you're not going to pound these beers.
So the Brewers Association Food Pairing Guide says that your Bock beers go best with cheese, chocolate, spicy Thai food, or Korean food. I would eat all of those, and I would eat them all together. Now, let me tell you about a man, Joe Sixpack, who has decided this year for Lent what he's giving up is food. What he's not giving up is Bock beer. A guy named Del Hall, Cincinnati, Ohio. I'm going to show you a picture of him because let me tell you, he looks the part. This is Del Hall of Cincinnati. He has decided to subside on only beer for the 40 days of Lent. 43-year-old guy's giving up all food, getting his calories from beer. Tell me he doesn't look the ideal for the
I
pub.
wonder if he's going to give up cigars too.
I started following him on Twitter, and in the first 2 weeks he was down 16 pounds,
Wow.
he said, and not at all hungry. He is a beer geek. He is the director of sales for a beer company out in Cincinnati, but he says this is not a gimmick. It is a test of my willpower, and he decided to do this. He used to be in the military, and he was down when he was 6'2". He weighed 203 pounds. When he weighed in this spring, or this winter, I guess, he weighed 292.
Well,
so he is on an all-beer diet.
better
Will this work?
Yeah, well, better him than me. I will tell you that this is not the first I've heard of this in modern times. It was done, a guy out in the Midwest did it a number of years ago, and I actually talked to him afterwards, and he said that the hardest part about it all was the sort of the GI issues that cropped up along with it.
It wreaks
So,
havoc with your digestive
yeah,
system.
a lot of gas, I think. So.
Oh,
What can I tell you?
how nice for those around him.
So-
All right, show me some other good Bach beers.
So here's the thing, first of all, Glenn, we went looking for Bach beers again, and I did not find very many locals. And the problem is that a lot of breweries have stopped brewing Bach beer because it's not terribly popular these days. They've switched over to IPAs and so on. It's a little harder to find these beers, but here's a couple notable ones. Einstock, which is from Iceland, they're making a nice...
Iceland,
yes,
really?
double Bach.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah, I would try that one. Then this is from Devil's Backbone, which is mainly known as a lager brewery, and they're making a double Bach. And then
Where are they based out of?
They are in Virginia.
Okay.
Virginia. And finally, the Weinstefener, which is slightly older than Yuengling here. I think this brewery dates back to the 1500s.
Wow.
They make Vitus, which is their own version of a double Bach.
Well, it's good stuff, and it is seasonal, and if you decide to celebrate Lent, or you just decide you want to celebrate anything, a nice Bach beer
Yeah,
is
I love them.
a good way to do it. Coming up, well, we're actually going to kind of look at the flip side of that. There's another trend which is coming up. I find this one really dangerous, and it is low-calorie beers. Not even light beers. We're talking lower than that.
Trouble.
With Joe Sixpack, I'm Glenn McNair. We're at the Yuengling Brewery, Pottsville, PA, and this is What's Brewing.
Make your day golden with a smooth, refreshing Yuengling Golden Pilsner. From America's oldest brewery, created by Yuengling's newest generation. It's a refreshing take on Pilsner. For a refreshing take on what's to come. Make your day golden. Yuengling Golden Pilsner.
Welcome back to What's Brewing. He's Joe Sixpack. I'm Glenn McNair with the Yuengling Brewery, Pottsville, Pennsylvania, enjoying a fine lager. Joe Sixpack, this is a nice, well-rounded beer. Now, I got trouble for you.
All right.
There's a bad trend coming around the bend, and as a beer aficionado, I don't think you're going to be happy about it.
Okay, let's hear it.
It is low-calorie beers, as in extremely low-calorie beers. And
Well,
go ahead.
It's not nothing new. I think we got, Yuengling Light right here.
Yeah, this is Yuengling Light. This is beyond Yuengling Light. Jokes aside, the craft beer brewers feel that they have found a way to retain taste in very low alcohol beers. I'm talking Kate Moss low alcohol beers. Okay.
And no calories, low calories
Well,
here as well.
so I'm going to show you one, okay? This is my Lagunitas Daytime. Lagunitas makes some fine beers.
Yes, they do.
This whole here can has 98 calories in it.
Okay.
Less than half of really what a decent light beer is going to have, right?
A decent beer, but it's an IPA in this case.
It is an IPA. This is
All right.
Lagunitas Daytime IPA.
This trend has been coming down the pike for a little bit. I've been hearing about it. I'm troubled as much as you.
That's pretty clear, man.
I'm troubled as much as
Right?
you are on this.
I could read a book through that. All right, tell me.
All right.
First of all, tell me how this is happening.
Okay, well, first of all, they're trying to, let's give it a taste here. Lots of hops in the nose.
It is hoppy.
It's surprisingly hoppy, but, and this
Not
is
awful.
this is a big butt, as Pee Wee Herman once said. This has got no real body to it. I think it's too light, and for my flavor, my taste in an IPA.
Yeah, it's watered down.
It does feel watered, but that's not the trick. What's really going on here is that they're brewing this beer with sort of the usual ingredients that you would use in beer, but they're adding an enzyme to this beer. It's been around for a while. It's actually used in regular light beer, but now craft brewers are using it for their full flavored beers and adding this enzyme. The enzyme is called, and I'm going to have to look at this,
Go for it.
amyloglucosidase.
That was pretty good.
Yeah,
For a guy who's about 6
amyloglucosidase.
beers into the day, that was very good.
And this has been around for a long time in the use of, in the creation of light beer. And what it does is it takes part of the beer, it takes the sugars.
This is where
in
you
the
play
beer.
Mr. Science?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, go for it.
Okay, so it takes the carbohydrates, I can't pronounce that word.
Yeah.
It takes the carbohydrates and converts them into, more of them into fermentable sugars, which then can be translated into alcohol. So instead of having the body of the sugar, it's now gone into alcohol.
Well, the story that I read said, quote, "This enzyme has taken the beer industry by storm and expect this to be a very big trend." Now, I'm trying to say this appropriately. It's not awful. Like, I have had some light beers that are awful. It's just there's no there.
It reminds me a little bit of what light beer has come to mean to me, and that is
But
basically
hoppy.
beer-flavored water that happens to be have a lot of hops in it in this case.
Right, it's hoppy. That's the difference between this and most light beers. All right, so two others. Dogfish Head, our friends, a brewery that you like a lot. Sam Calagione, is that how I pronounce it?
Calagione, yeah.
Calagione, who is the founder, recently resolved in January that he was going to get in better shape, be more physically active, eat more healthy, and specifically to drink only this beer that they make, which is the Dogfish Head Sequence Ale, a very tart gauche with lower than average alcohol than most. It is about 150 calories, which again is very low. I wouldn't have any more glasses. I'm going to let you enjoy that one.
All right. You know what? I'm going to do a double pour because you got to taste this one too.
Okay. The reduced calories in it is very significant, considering that it comes from the same brewery that makes these stouts that are 8, 9, 10%.
They make a stout that's got over 666 calories in it, famously. Well, actually, what's going on with this one? This one is a Goza style beer. It's got a little bit of salt in it, it's sour and so on, and it's been around a little bit for like the last year. He's actually coming out with another one, Glenn, this year called Slightly Mighty Low Cal IPA. He wants an IPA as well, and that baby is, I think that's going to be closer to 100 calories, and he's sweetening it. This is their big twist there. They're sweetening it with something called Chinese monk fruit that is 300 times as sweet as regular sugar.
Oh, yeah, people use that as an artificial sugar these days.
Really?
I've seen it as as a sugar substitute.
So anyway, he's using that for the sugar base, and it's going to be, here's the I'm a little bit.
I'm going to try this. By the way, brewed with lime juice, lime peel, black limes, and sea salt. Okay.
I actually like this beer. This is, all right, there we go.
It tastes like the Jersey Shore. It tastes like. It's like I went in the water and opened my mouth.
Here's the thing that really troubles me about this, and is that it is the craft brewers who are chasing the trend of big beer, in specific Michelob Ultra, which is a huge selling beer in America. I'll drink that baby right out of the can.
Well, no, you won't. You'll drink it out of here because I'm going to try it out of the can. There you go.
Okay. So they're just chasing part of the big beer market, and frankly, I'm offended by that. I think craft brewers should have their own market. It's distinct. Among other things, it's full flavored. And when you start messing around with the lighter style beers, I think that you're betraying not only your fans, but also your own background as a brewer.
You know what? That was really well said. That was brilliantly said. All right, finally, let's wrap up with this. This is the Founders All Day IPA Session Ale, and they too are going to come out with one even lower than this. This is whatever, 140 calories. You appear underwhelmed.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go back to my Trogonair that you poured me earlier.
There you go. That's a much better thing. All right, coming up, we're going to give you the latest results from our Field of 32 brew down, and we just learned a history lesson for you on what's brewing. Once upon a time, in England, you could get divorced, and the price of the divorce was a beer. We're not making that up. We'll tell you more. From the Yuengling Brewery in Pottsville, PA, on What's Brewing. Welcome back to What's Brewing from the Yuengling Brewery in Pottsville, PA. You should come take the tour. It's really a lot of fun. You get the samples at the end. The drive coming out from Philly to here is actually kind of pretty. I don't get out to this part of the world very often. It's a lengthy drive, but it's fun. All right.
Those were cows, by the way.
Those were cows. I thought they were big dogs. What do I know? All right, Joe Sixpack, we concocted this Field of 32 IPA brew down this year. You made it more complex because you put in a bunch of wild cards. We're past that now.
Past the wild cards.
We're into the Field of 32.
Yes, we are
All
now
right.
into the Field of 32.
Give me your result
Okay,
this week.
so in the Keystone Keepers division, we had a lot of requests for this beer, Tired Hands Alien Church. A lot of our listeners and followers and viewers have said, they're big fans of Tired Hands, so they wanted to see Tired Hands in this bracket, and we had them face off Sterling Pig's Snuffler from down in Media.
Okay.
And it was a blowout. It was unbelievable. Not unbelievable, I guess, given the amount of hype around Tired Hands. It defeated Sterling Pig's Snuffler 76 to 24%.
Wow, that's a big one. By the way, you should follow and vote on all of our brew down on his social media page, his Twitter page at
Beer Radar. Yes.
Thank you. And my Twitter page is at Real Glenn Macnow, at Beer Radar, at Glenn Macnow. I had two actually, both, I was conflicted because I like both of these beers a lot. Ithaca Flower Powered beat Sierra Nevada Torpedo. 55 to 45 had a lot of votes on that one. That was close. Yours was kind of the first blowout we've had in this.
Yeah, it was. It's to be expected because there's fans of all these beers. Nobody dislikes any of these beers. They just like others more than others.
All right, Joe Sixpack, I know you're happily married. You ought to be. You're married way up, let's admit that. But Mrs. Sixpack is a delight. Once upon a time in England, throughout the 18th and 19th century, one way of divorce was tough, so a way around divorce, I should say, was to sell your wife, and wives were sold for a variety of things. I'm going to read you this here. You could get rid of your wife for something as low as the price of a bullpup and a quarter of rum.
A what?
Bullpup and a quarter of rum. I have neither of those in my. Well, I assume it's a dog.
A dog?
I guess.
Jeez.
All the way up to 40
old days.
40 British pounds, a supper, and a keg of ale. In 1887, I don't know if this was the woman whose husband sold her for that keg of ale. You know what? If so, he did pretty well.
I don't know. Maybe she was.
Neither of them is really a prize
really,
there.
Exactly. That's bizarre. Okay, selling a woman for beer seems just like insane.
Yeah.
How did this happen?
One real excerpt. In 1832, a sand carrier named Walter, I guess that was his job, carried sand, sold his wife at Cranbrook Market in Kent for 1 glass of gin, 1 pint of beer, and his 8-year-old son.
Oh, okay.
So I think he got, I don't know if he got the kid or lost the kid. Other sales are known to have been brokered with rum, brandy, whiskey, cider, a home-cooked dinner, and a Newfoundland dog. I have to say in 2019 it all kind of looks terribly misogynistic, or
You think?
but sales went on as late as the end of the 19th century. People in England did this thing. A guy wrote a book on it, which is kind of how this all came out.
That is just completely nuts. I really, I just can't even imagine how this is before women could vote in America or in England, I think.
I assume.
How they got away with this.
I don't know, but Reasons that you could do this, that you could decide to get rid of your wife, were barrenness, okay,
Of
sorry,
course.
or nagging, or the suggestion that the man just wanted a younger or more submissive partner. All right, one more thing. Hey, we cover the waterfront here. One more thing. This is a nice story. You'll like this.
All
There is
right.
a brewery that started down in Hyattsville, Maryland, which is aimed at the deaf population, people who are hearing impaired. It's called Streetcar 82. The three guys who owned it are graduates of Gallaudet University, which is down near Washington, which is a university geared toward deaf people. And they wanted to turn their home brewing hobby into an operational brewery, provide employment for people who are hearing impaired. And the brewery has kind of become a tool for educating the hearing community. All of the people who work there, the wait staff and the people who work behind the bar, are deaf. And they said, we do see some people who come in initially a bit uncomfortable with having deaf staff work with them. They quickly get used to that, and then it's like being in anybody's tap room, not different after all.
As the way it should be. I mean, that's it's a great gesture. We see this across brewing, consistently, where there's our efforts to reach out to special communities and to bring them into the rest of the brewing world. I think this is brilliant. I will go visit this place.
So if you are down, if you are down near Hyattsville, Maryland, go to Brewery 82. Streetcar 82 in Hyattsville, and enjoy a nice beer or ale, and enjoy yourself. All right, coming up on What's Brewing, we're going to talk to some of the next generation, the 6th generation here at Yuengling Brewery. People who are taking in the future. We'll talk to them about their 190th birthday. Wow.
Amazing number, great history here. You can just feel it all around us with these signs and so on. I love this place.
This is What's Brewing.
I'm Joe Sixpack. I love beer and I love travel. I've visited great breweries around the world, and I'm inviting you to join me on my next expedition to France. Yes, they make beer in France. We'll travel the Seine on a luxury river cruise from Paris to Normandy. We'll visit breweries, explore the sites, drink great beer, and maybe some wine. Join me in October 2020. Just visit my website at phillybeerworld.com. Let's discover a world of beer together.
Hey, welcome back to What's Brewing with Joe Sixpack. I'm Glenn Macnow at the Yuengling Brewery in Pottsville, PA. I am enjoying a fine lager. We are joined now by Debbie and Sheryl Yuengling, 6th generation running this thing. It is an amazing story, and congratulations to you guys, because last month Yuengling was named the #1 craft brewery in America by the Brewers Association over Boston Style #2, Sierra Nevada #3. And you told me, Debbie, that it's kind of a, mixed blessing for you.
It's definitely an honor. We are proud to be named the #1 craft brewery. We identify ourselves typically as a regional brewery. We only sell in 22 states, so we are not nationwide, and we only brew a little over 2 million barrels, which is a lot less than your big 3 breweries, but it's significantly more than some of your craft breweries. So
Yeah.
we usually say regional.
Okay, so in addition to the size of this place, we also have this amazing longevity, 190 years, and one of the ways that you guys are going to have been celebrating, you've been celebrating it all year. We've been talking about the different cans and the various events, but you also have coming up on April 18th the America's Oldest Brewery Day. Tell us a little bit about that event.
Yeah, so we're excited to celebrate America's Oldest Brewery Day, April 18th. We're inviting our fans to come in. What we're going to be doing that day actually is creating a time capsule. So we're going to put together a time capsule. The family members are going to put something in, but we're inviting our fans and visitors to fill out. They're going to get, when they make a purchase at the gift shop, they get a card or a coaster that they can put a message on, and they get to put in the time capsule as well. Yeah.
What is the family going to be putting in? Can you tell us?
We
anything?
haven't quite decided.
No, I think each of us are going to find something that means something to us.
Have any ideas yet? I hope.
We have a few. We have a few, but if you have some, we would love to hear
days
it.
left.
How long when is the time capsule goes down? When is it going to come back up?
I think that's yet to be determined. We might let
190
the next
years?
That's
generation
what we're
decide
thinking.
that one.
Okay.
Maybe the 12th generation. We'll
All
let
right,
them
so
open
Earlier
ours.
in the show, we were talking about these low-calorie beers that have been coming out in the craft beer segment. You guys make a light lager. How big is that as far as brand in your family of beers, and why do you make it even?
I think it's important for the consumers. I think beer drinkers are now more health conscious. Our generation, all generations are trying to watch a little bit more of what they eat and drink. So I think the lower calorie is what they're looking for. So we came out with the light lager quite a few years ago.
It's been a while, yeah.
Right, it's been a little bit that we've had that. So our lager is our flagship brand. We sell the majority of that. That's what we're pretty much known for. Our consumers like the lager beer.
Indeed.
For sure.
This is the heavy lager.
Cans or on draft, right?
24-ounce heavy lager.
And I have the light lager. Actually, we have 4 core brands. We have the Black and Tan, which is a combination of the porter and the our premium beer. We have our traditional lager, the light lager, and also our new Golden Pilsner, which that just came out about a year ago. So we've added that to the portfolio. That's a really great, refreshing, sessionable beer that we think there was a demand for with our consumers.
I mean, nice. Coming here, we saw people taking the tours. The tours are great. Tell a little bit about when people come here, what they see on the tour, what they can see.
You get to go into the brewery and actually see the history of it. So the brewery was founded in 1829, but the original building burnt down in 1831. So we relocated actually across the street from where we're sitting right now. Right now we're in our museum and gift shop, which is where the dairy was. So when you come in for the tour, you get to go in through the caves. The caves were hand dug in the brewery. They did that for natural refrigeration. Then you go up through the brewery, see the packaging, and you get to come back into our tasting room and sample the beers, which is the best part.
Free samples?
Absolutely.
All right. And this gift shop is like a killer gift shop. You know, beer nerds, and myself included, love beer stuff. This is like an amazing store. If you're going to come up here, save some time and do a little shopping here as well, I would say.
Also, more going on in the summer. I know you have a concert in July that's scheduled, right?
Yeah, it'll be our 190th anniversary concert. We haven't announced who it is yet, but more details about that will be coming up. Just follow us on social media.
So you have this amazingly long tradition, yet I see that you've grasped onto the whole social media trend of Facebook and Twitter and so on. What do you think that your great-great-great-grandfather would have made of Twitter?
3 greats, you're good. That was 3 greats.
I can't even imagine what they would think of a handheld phone right now, or any type of phone for that matter.
Yeah. I think the fact that even just our dad has a hard time with Twitter and things like that, I don't even, those generations, for them to see where the beer industry has come, where society has come, social media probably wasn't even a thought. But we've persevered through a whole lot of it. I mean, one of the things we talked about a lot this year was we survived through Prohibition. And that was almost 15 years of not even being able to make the product, which was pretty impressive. So their perseverance got us to where we are today.
I want you to start making that ice cream again. I would enjoy some of that. Debbie and Sheryl, thank you so much. Thanks for having us, and thanks for joining us.
Thanks so much for coming.
Great time here at the Yuengling Brewery in Pottsville. We appreciate everybody watching. Remember, check out our Twitter pages. We're pretty active on social media. At Beer Radar, at Real Glenn Macnow, and vote in our brew down of the 32 best IPAs. We will be back next week from the Sly Fox Brewery in Pottstown with Joe Sixpack. I'm Glenn Macnow. This has been What's Brewing.
What's Brewing, brought to you in part by Monco Makers, powered by the Valley Forge Tourism and Convention Board. Download the app. And by the Conshohocken Brewing Company, now with 5 locations.